In front of me today, I have 2 glasses of water. I also have a paperclip and a small ice cube. These ice cube and paperclip are around the same size and weight. Right now, I'm going to drop them both into these identical glasses of water and see what happens. Please note that these glasses are filled with regular water out of the sink. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, they weigh the same thing should happen to both of them. Make your guesses now. All right, let's see. So the ice floats. Well, paperclip sank to the bottom. I mean, they weigh the same, so why is this? Let's get a move on and find out. Well, the reason why the ice floats and the paperclip sinks is something called density. Today, we're going to learn about density and how we can use it to make cool things. All right, so today we're going to learn about density. Density is why the ice floats and the paperclip sinks, even though they're roughly the same size and shape, as well as the same weight. Let's get on to the experiment and find out more about density. Today's lesson is 2 wrenches, which means it might be helpful to have some background knowledge on density, but you don't need it. However, you are going to need some materials that you might not have. These materials are an empty water bottle, usually the small type will do, water, glitter, honey, oil, corn syrup, or anything else you want. All right, first, we're going to ask ourselves some questions. Let's go back to the paperclip and ice cube that we had earlier. Well, what's the difference between these 2 things? Do they have different textures? Are they made up of different things? Do they feel different? Just a reminder, textures is how something feels. This can be soft, hard, or itchy and scratchy. On your screen right now, you have several objects that you might have around you, including pencils, crayons, erasers, coins. What you're going to do is this. You're going to take a glass of water, like this one right here, and you're going to take whatever you have around you. So something I have around me is this ball and this pencil. I'm going to throw these things into the water and separate them into 2 piles. Float and sink. I should do this with about 5 to 10 objects, pausing the video and restarting it when I'm done. All right, I'll see you when you have your 2 piles, guys. So now that we have our 2 piles, float and sink, we're ready to start talking about density. Density is how tightly packed little tiny molecules that make up everything are. If the molecules are really, really tightly packed together, the object is very, very dense. If they're more loose, the object is less dense. In our glass of water, water has a set density, meaning all water's molecules are kind of packaged the same way. If an object has more density than water, meaning their molecules are really tightly packed together, it's going to sink to the bottom of the glass. If they're more loose and less dense than water, the object is going to float to the top of the glass. So going back to our ice and paperclip, the ice, we can tell, is less dense than water and less tightly packed because it floated to the top. Whereas the paperclip is denser and more tightly packed because it sank to the bottom. All right, so right here I've got all my materials I need for the density experiment. I have an empty water bottle, some corn syrup, it's been dyed purple, some light blue water that's been dyed blue, oil that it's naturally yellow, some large glitter that's gold, and some small glitter that's green. So first I'm going to add the corn syrup to the bottom of And it's coming out a little clear, but the purple will get in there. Yep, here it goes. Made a little bit of a mess, so give me a second while I clean up. All right, we're back. We have our bottle that's now newly cleaned up with purple corn syrup in the bottom. Now we're gonna add a layer of glitter. Right on top. Then we're gonna add the oil. And then you're gonna see the oil sits on top of both the glitter and the corn syrup. It's kind of hard to tell because they're all yellow, but the glitter and oil are mixing and the corn syrup is not. Lastly, I'm gonna take my water and I'm gonna pour it in. Leaving a little room at top for my glitter and some air. Then I'm gonna pour in my fine glitter. And now you can see that I have a purple layer, a glitter layer that also has the oil in it, the water layer, and then another glitter layer with the green. Lastly, I'm gonna put on the cap and shake it up. In 10 minutes, we're gonna come back and we're gonna see what happens. See you then. All right, it's been a little bit of time since I shook the bottle, and now we're gonna see what happened. So it might be hard to see, but if you do this yourself, you can see it better. I'm gonna bring it up here and you can see that on the bottom, the corn syrup is still in the purple. Next up is the water, which is the blue. Turn it over here. So you can see it's definitely a darker color than it is up here. And then we have the green glitter and then the oil. Why did these layers separate out? All right, so now that we talked about the fact that the liquids separated out from each other, let's talk about why. Well, this all comes back to density. Remember, in the very beginning of the video, I said that density is what causes the paper clip to sink and the ice to float. This is the same reason we're seeing a separation here. We have the most dense corn syrup on the bottom. Then we have the less dense water, because water is less dense than corn syrup, so it's gonna sit on top. However, the glitter is less dense than the water, so the glitter is gonna be on top of that. Then we have the oil on top of that. The oil, this means, is the least dense, and the corn syrup is the most dense. The glitter varies in density based on a lot of different things, and that's why some of it is flowing to the very top, but some of it's stuck to the side. If you want to see the density of glitter in action, use bigger gold glitter than I used. However, we can see the density of the glitter really well with the green layer. In this lesson, we learned 2 vocab words. One of them was density, which is how tightly packed the little bits of an object are. Things can be more dense and very tightly packed, or less dense and more loosely packed. We also learned texture, which is how something feels. This can be described as hard or soft, or scratchy and itchy. All right, we've reached the end of the lesson, but don't worry. As always, there's more experience to try and always new things to learn. If you were interested in working with water and other liquids, try out our wave lesson over here. If you like learning more about density and the physical things that make something up, you can try our motion lesson over here. As always, thanks for watching and stay curious, guys.